Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this video on some kind of like tips and tricks to help you fill in your unit circle. So now that you've kind of done it once, we're still trying to get you so you can fill in the whole thing in 5 minutes. It's just going to be really useful for this year. It's going to be really useful for next year. I've had students come back and tell me they use it, and they're happy that they had to memorize this dang thing. So yes, it's going to be useful, I promise. So yeah, you need to be able to fill in this circle. It's going to be useful. So, the unit circle. So the trick to really filling in this really fast is realizing that it is just one quadrant rotated 3 times. Okay, everything is a reflection of the other side. So on the right side, if we reflect over, it's going to be the same thing over here. And if we reflect down this way, you're going to get things matching. So it's symmetrical when you reflect, and it's symmetrical as you rotate. And that's going to be really useful for filling in the points. And usually the degrees people are really good at, because if you just memorize it, it's 30, 15, 15, 30. You can add that up pretty fast, right? 30 plus 15 is 45, 45 plus 15 is 60, 60 plus 30 is 9. And you just keep going. Sorry, it is 90. 90 plus 30 is 120, plus 15 is 135, plus 15 is 150, add 30, 180. And yeah, so you just memorize add 30, add 15, add 15, add 30, and you can get around with the angles there. But let's talk about radians. So something that's really handy is memorizing that all of the 45-degree ones are all pi fourths. So 45 degrees is pi fourths. And so if you want to go up to 90, which is 45 degrees twice, that gives you 2 pi fourths. Well, that simplifies to be pi halves. Convenient, that. Well, and if you continue on again, you're going to get 3 pi fourths. That doesn't simplify, so that's what you write down. And if you go another 45 degrees, you're going to get 4 pi fourths, which simplifies just to be pi. And if you go 45 more degrees, you get 5 pi fourths, which that also does not simplify. So you just write 5 pi fourths. And then you go 45 more degrees, and you get 6 pi fourths, which that does reduce to be 3 pi halves, which is your radians. And if you go 45 more degrees, scribble that, we get 7 pi fourths, which that doesn't simplify, so that's what you write down. And as you go all the way around here, you'll end up at 8 pi fourths, which is 2 pi. Okay, so if you realize that each 45 jump is another 1/4 pi, you'll just get these fractions. It's 1/4 pi, 2/4 pi, 3/4 pi, 4/4 pi, 5/4 pi, 6/4 pi, 7/4 pi, and then 8/4 pi. And you can fill those in really fast. Do. Well, that's a handy trick with the 45-degree ones. Well, let's look at the 30-degree ones. And again, this is going to save you all sorts of time on filling in your radians. If you memorize that 30 degrees is pi sixth, every 30-degree jump is going to add another sixth of a pi. So when I jump up here to 60, which is another 30 on top of that, I'm going to get 2 6 pi. Well, 2 6 reduces quite nicely to 1/3 pi, or pi thirds, and so that's my radians. And if I go another 30 degrees, I'm going to get 3 6 pi. Oh, that reduces to be a half, so I write pi halves. And then I can go another 30 degrees, which is going to be 4 6 pi. Well, 4 6 reduces to be 2/3, and so there's my radians. And I can go another 30 degrees to make 5 pi 6, or 5 6 pi. That one does not reduce, so I write just 5 6 pi. And then I can go another 30 to make 6 6 pi. Well, that reduces quite nicely just to be 1, so it's 1 pi. And you can keep going on with the pattern. You get 7 6 pi, and then you got another 30 to make 8 6 pi, and then you got 9/6 pi, and then you got 10/6 pi, and then you got another jump there to make 11, sorry, I'm doing bad as 11/6 pi, and then your last jump gives you 12/6 pi. Yeah, so if you remember each 30-degree jump, so this jump here, they're all just 30-degree jumps, which is 1/6 of pi. You can build up your fraction 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, 6/6, and you just go around as you build them up. And don't forget to reduce them when you can. So things like 7/6 pi stays 7/6 pi. But 8/6 is 4/3, so you want to simplify it down to 4/3. And then 9/6 also reduces to be 3/2. 10/6 is 5/3. And then 11/6 doesn't reduce, and 12/6 reduces to be 2. So that's how you can quickly get your radians. Remember what the 45 degrees do? That's 1/4 of pi. Remember what 30 degrees does, which is 1/6 pi. And you can add that up and build it as you go around your unit circle there. So I got all those kind of pointed out for you. The other very important trick is remembering the coordinates. So if you can remember on your unit circle here, again, the starting here, this is a 30, 60, 90. So you got 30, you got 60, and 90 is down in the corner. And if you want to get these coordinates, you just have to remember on the 30, 60, 90 triangles, the short side is going to be a half. The hypotenuse is always 1. You don't need the hypotenuse on the coordinates. And then the other side is going to be square root of 3/2. You just have to memorize those two dimensions, because then you can remember horizontal, that's the x part, vertical, that's the y part, and you fill them in 1/2 for y and root 3/2 for the x. And then when I go to any of the 30-degree angles, it's going to be a mixture of that. So I see here, when I jump to this one, this is also a 30, 60, 90. So I got 60, 30, square root. The shortest side is going to be a half. The long side, the non-hypotenuse long side is going to be root 3/2. So my x is a half, and my y is root 3/2. And once you get your first quadrant filled in, you can reflect over your x-axis, and it's going to be the same coordinates, just you have to do a sign change. So if you reflect horizontally, you're going to do a change on the x-axis, x coordinate. If you reflect over the y-axis, you change the x coordinate. If you reflect over the x-axis, say down here, you change the y coordinates. So 1/2 becomes -1/2. And so if you just get your first quadrant here, and you reflect over here, and then you can reflect over here. It's the same two coordinates. You just got to do some sign changes. And the same thing applies when you memorize your pi-4 angle there. It's root 2/2 for both of them, for all the 45-degree angles. So when you reflect over here, you do a sign change. If you reflect over here, you get a sign change on the y. Reflect over here, you do a sign change on the x. But it's the same coordinates. There's all sign changes as you go around. And so hopefully that gives you some tips and tricks on able to reduce how long it takes you to fill in your unit circle. I want you to practice. I want you to be able to do it in under 5 minutes. It's going to save you oodles of time. If you can do this fast, you can memorize what these things are. So good luck, practice up, and may the force be with you.